Bonsoir, mademoiselles et messieurs. Bienvenue la Villa De La Muerte. And there goes any possibility of the channel having any popularity in France. So yes, that's exhausted all of the French that I know, which is a problem because this game, I was under the impression, was fully in French, with no English in it, but given that I've just realised the options menu and the start button's in English, we might actually be a bit better set than I thought we were going to be. But yes, apparently this is a game that has something to do with France. I don't know whether it's set in France or it's made by some French people. I do not know, but I believe La Villa De La Muerte means the House of Death. I think that's about the best I can give you. Right, and I promise not to say any more French because I know how offensive that was and I probably mispronounced all those words. Okay, right. Where's to move and mouse to control the camera. This is beautiful. This is absolutely lovely. I'm not convinced the frame rate is absolutely lovely, but the rest of it's alright. This is nice. Am I very tall, or do the people that live here, are they very short? Because, these doors are quite small. Also, why do I seem to have some blue aura that seems to gravitate off me? Yeah, I'm getting seriously worried. Seriously worried about the frame rate. Right, here is a baguette. I once asked somebody what the French word for baguette is until they taught me that baguette is a French word. It's not an English word. Okay, right, never mind. Enough about my faux pas. Right, sorry about that. A slight interruption as somebody delivered a rather attention-seeking cat to me. What the hell is that? Is that just a tree? At first I thought it was a pair of deer antlers, but now I think it looks more like a spooky face. There's the eye, there's another eye, and then that sort of curvy bit there is like an evil grin. Spooky pokey. Anyway, never mind. Hold shift to sprint. Well, hold shift to scamper ever so slightly faster than I was otherwise doing. But, never mind. That seems obtusely constructed. That does not seem practical in the slightest. This doesn't seem very modern. This seems quite sort of olden times. Sorry, my words are failing me today. And, yeah, you'd imagine things would be built a little bit more practically. It's a bit more cheaply. But, I'm not complaining. We have some enormous croissants here, which is absolutely lovely. I'll say the light is done very, very nicely. Still kills the frame rate, but it's very nice. Click and drag left mouse button or press E to open and close doors and wardrobes. Huzzah. So I can... You slammed the door behind me. That was very rude of you indeed. Right, never mind. At least I found a door I can fit under, which makes a nice change from all the other doors. Is this something special? Oh, it's a candle. Right, sorry. Turns out my words are also failing me, along with my eyes. So is this the villa? The villa that was spoken about? This is locked. I cannot go through here. Why did you just direct my head over there? Why was I just walking along and then you suddenly decided you needed to redirect me someplace else? I guess the game developers don't want you missing things. He says, immediately going in the opposite direction to the way the developers want me to go. Alright then. I can't open that door there. Pressing all of the buttons doesn't seem to do much. So we could go over there, or we could go upstairs. I suppose we should go upstairs, because that is where we were directed to. I'm going to get slightly distracted by these enormous moldy cheese wheels, which I presume are just rather crass cushions. It's a light that moves. Okay. Little bit mysterious. It's quite quiet. Hear a little bit of music. I can also see. Oh, I can peek. I can peek through the little gap and see not much really. What looks like the floor of a restaurant. So I don't really know what this is. I don't know whether it's meant to be like a horror game or like a murder mystery or something like that. Physician's notes. Patients 2, age 5 and 8. So was there a family that lived here and their children were sick? Yes, it does just randomly grab your head and make you look at things, which I do like because it tells me where I'm supposed to be going, but at the same time I find a little confusing. This is a very, very modern picture. Like, this picture could have been taken yesterday, for crying out loud. Compared to the rest of the architecture and the paintings like this, they really do show a certain temporal dichotomy. I didn't read what that said. To pick up items, presumably. I apologise that the light is flashing in here at the moment. It's not just thematically appropriate, it's also very irritating. Oh, do I need to affix it to this, perhaps? To go over there, to the pink light district. Excuse me a moment while I fiddle with the lighting. I know I'm always talking about gammy electrics and indie horror games. I didn't realise I had gammy electrics here as well. So much to ask for. You just pick a side and stick with it instead of flip-flopping. You flippity-floppity. You floppity-flippity. Ugh. Right, never mind. Okay then, what's this? Were you just trying to redirect me to the note again, or was there something more that you wanted me to see? You certainly want me to see anything over here. It's as dark as the void. Goodness. Not sure what happened there. I think I got eaten up by the darkness. And then the game restarted. Okay. Curious. Has the game actually restarted or not? Let's see if the prompt to press shift to sprint comes up again. I don't remember that sign being there before. No, I feel like the prompt had come up by this point. Okay, that's good. At least that means the game didn't crash. That's at least something to be grateful for. This is a rather mysterious game. It's not putting a lot of information out there, it's just sort of presenting you with stuff and just sort of letting you observe it and take it all in, which is an interesting approach. Alright then, let's have a little wander through this library. I don't get much out of libraries at the best of times, but that's just because I'm stupid. But this one's probably going to be even more challenging, given that I can only speak about 7 words of the language that I assume it's all written in. These two characters seem to be appearing a lot. I'm wondering whether they might be members of the family, perhaps the mother and father of the 2 children that were referenced in that physician's note. What's this? Giddy aunt. The world's most depressed telephone booth? Can I get in here? Can I hide? Not very well, because anything walking down here would be able to see me and my bioluminescent blue chest. But, alright. Let's continue to wander about. No, I can't open that one. I do find it a little curious how the prompt appears on doors that you can't open. It doesn't appear on the locked ones, like the ones with the padlocks. That one, for example, it doesn't appear there, but it will appear in other places. Most confusing. Okay, let me just go back to the library for a second. Did I actually fully explore it? Because I feel like I only skirted around the edge. Can I go in a little deeper? No, not really, because all these bookcases are in the way. Unless I can go around this side. Yes, here we are. This is better. Yeah, so there was a door here the whole time and I didn't see it? Okay. Master of understatement as ever when I said that my eyes were failing me. Okay, here's a lantern. With a bit of luck I might be able to get that. A divorce notice. Okay, so now I think these definitely are the mother and father, and perhaps these are the 2 children that were spoken about. Well, written about. We haven't had anything spoken yet. Goodness. I'm guessing the divorce settlement was somewhat explosive, judging off the amount of mess that is is currently all about. Giddy. Literally chopping the chairs up. I get the impression someone was chasing somebody else around with a machete. Can I go up here? Oh goodness, I can. I didn't actually expect this to work. Especially since I don't seem to be able to do much now that I'm up here. I don't seem to have a jump button. Okay, I'm not convinced I'm meant to be up there. So what's the purpose of that little booth back there? Is that to hide? Is that to hide from some sort of a monster? What's this? It's a piece of a painting, perhaps. Interesting. Can I reconstruct the family portrait? Goodness. Looks a bit like me after I've fallen into the tomato sauce. Perhaps I can reconstruct a family portrait, and that will bring the family back together again. Literally in terms of their portraits, and metaphorically in terms of the family. I'm sure that's how marriage counselling works. You just get a family photograph, snip it into little shreds, and then spend an hour and a half sticking it back together with super glue. I'm sure that's how everything works. This is a nice place. I can understand why it's described as a villa now. Very nice indeed. Oh wow, I didn't realise the mountainous terrain before. I'm not familiar with any part of France that's quite this mountainous. I'm familiar with parts of Germany that are this mountainous, but not France. Then again, I'm not thoroughly versed in floating rocking chairs. Presumably for slightly magical grandmothers, perhaps. And here's another one of these cupboards I can hide in. Did I miss a piece? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Oh no, this is the frame for the portrait. That's what you're trying to tell me. I weren't standing here a minute ago, I was standing over there. This game is a little odd. This game sort of makes you do things that I'm not convinced I've wholly consented to the doing of yet. I wish to hide in this cupboard for a minute, and then be confused that I have lost my bioluminescence. I'm no longer making the walls blue when I get near them. Alright then. Can I construct certain parts here? I think I'm missing pieces. I am missing pieces. There's a very large piece of me right between my lug holes that I've been missing for about 21 years. That must mean I need to collect all of the parts then. Here is another part. That's interesting. That looks like the picture of a little boy. But the painting, or the pictures rather, yes, this picture here, this looked like a picture of two little girls. But, maybe I'm wrong. Is there something here? Oh, there's a prompt coming up. I'm pressing the button, nothing's happening. Is there a door on the other side? Oh, it's probably linking to that, isn't it? Can I have this as well, please? Yeah, I'm guessing that's the mother. Yeah, with the long hair. This is the last piece. Oh, I like this game because it gives me clear instructions. Which means it's harder for my cretinousness to get in the way of stuff. Ah, okay, so now I have a little puzzle to play with. Oh, so this is a picture of a family with two boys. What's that? Is that a crystal ball? I can't move the mouse anymore. Why can't I move the mouse? Because somehow I clicked out of the game without clicking. Man alive. Oh, it's a lantern. Right. I'll be having this, thank you. Evening, madam. You may wish to see a dentist and also a dermatologist. And pretty much an everything else ologist, because frankly, madam, you need it. Alright then. Good. I'm glad we've got some light, because I was going to say that it was a little dark. But nice to go with the lantern instead of the traditional flashlight. I appreciate this little change. Here's another black void I can go into, which presumably will send me back here again. Do I still have the lantern? Yes, I do. And my bangle. Spiffing. I'm going to turn that off for the time being, just in case I've got some sort of fuel or other such resource which is being used up when I do that. Good, my bioluminescent bod is back, and whatever statue or creature was over there seems to have gone now. But there's something else over there. How mysterious. So what is it with these two different families? Are they two separate families, or are they in fact got some sort of connecting link? Like the father, for example. Because in the painting of the family with the two little boys, the father's face was dashed with blood. So that implies that he was the naughty one. Shut that. And be confused why on this side of the door handle's on the left, and on that side of the door handle's on the left as well, when it should be on the right. I've already shut the door. I've also turned around slightly more than I realised. Man alive. Never mind any of that. I'm just standing here and being confused. I'm wondering perhaps whether the father had two families. Like a family where he had two little boys and a family where he had two little girls, and maybe somehow it was discovered that he was being an adulterous man, and he got everything all screwed up. Question is whether that face we saw was that of one of his wives or one of his daughters. I know, another slamming door. Doors in this place like slamming a lot, don't they? I've noticed that. Something of a trend. I must note that if I ever visit France. I must note that and be prepared to be whacked by any doors that happen to slam. So what's this? A necklace. A necklace with a picture of the man on. Who left this here? I need to hide. Oh, goodness, I'd better get in the cupboard. I better turn this off as well to be additionally sneaky. The frame rate seems to get a little better when I turn that off as well. Can I crouch? I can crouch. I don't know if I need to, though. Well, she looks tall enough to be an adult, implying she's one of the wives. Floating. I didn't realise that before. Do you? I don't. I think the sensible thing to do, friend, would be to catapult yourself out the stained glass window. Interestingly, she had a sort of red light on her chest, which makes me... What the hell? Control for crouch. Why do I need to crouch? Why are you telling me to crouch when I come near this table? I'm clearly too tall to fit under it. Oh, you mean just press it? Oh, so you can press control to crouch, and then again to come out of crouching, stand up, as the rest of us say, Phil. You can also press it to sort of initiate hiding. How exciting. Curious. But yes, she had a red light on her chest, sort of roughly where a necklace would be. So I'm wondering whether maybe she wore the necklace, and it had a picture of her husband on it, but then she took it off when she realised that he was an adulterer. And that somehow made her spirit unrestful. So we have the... Seems to have another door slamming behind us. I mean, I like the slamming of the doors, because that means you need to stay in here until you're finished. It means you can't go off and get stuck wandering around other places, not realising that it's actually in here you're supposed to be. I'm going to open these up in preparation for the next spooky pooky moment. Right, giddy. Do you people have bottoms made of scythes? How are you doing this much damage to your sofa? Also, do you have tastes made of garbage? Because this sofa is really ugly. But never mind any of that. see what we can find here in this game room. There's a clock here. I'm wondering whether this might be of significance. Clocks so often are. I don't know as there will be any puzzles, or whether it's just a matter of walking around and having a wee bit of fun. Here is another sofa. Should we see if this one has also been sliced to pieces? Yes, it has. And somehow it's slightly worse than the last one. Alright then. I presume I can't leave. No, I can. Am I supposed to, though? Normally these red lights indicate something I'm supposed to be looking at or interacting with. But I'm not seeing anything here that is of interest. Nothing I can open. Unless it's that. What is that? A ring? A ring of some kind? Yes, another one. I didn't know I'd found the first one. She's back. She's bashing on the door. That door I opened. I'm sorry, game developers. I didn't mean to break your game. Right. Let's see if we can get a better look at her this time. Yeah, she's definitely got something red around her neck. I might just crouch down a little bit. Sorry, madam. I don't mean to be criticising your appearance. I could criticise your hair washing schedule. It seems to have been about a century since the last time. Interestingly, those screams almost sound like they're derived from a baby crying. It could just be my imagination and the knowledge that we're talking about, or we seem to be talking about a number of different families. But it sounds to me like somebody's taken the sound of a baby crying and sort of done some audio manipulation on it in order to turn it into a sort of demonic scream. It's very interesting. It's very unique. I'm being very impressed by this game so far. I still haven't quite pinned down what it's trying to do, or how exactly it's doing it. But what it is doing, whatever it is it's doing, I'm rather enjoying up to now. I like the blue, misty atmosphere as well. This is very nice. I'll tell you what this street reminds me of, just randomly, is We Happy Few. Sort of the aesthetic. Rather strikes a chord with that one. Anyway, let's go back inside and see if we can find another open door, because it seems like each time I enter, there's a new door which is opened, and it looks like it might be the one at the far end this time. The library's open again. I don't know if we need to be in there. There was a song written a long time ago called This Joint is Jumping. I don't think that in the place which inspired the name of that song, the sofas and the chairs and the clocks and the wardrobes and the ladders and the plant pots were actually bouncing up and down off the floor. They might be. I have to confess I wasn't there. But if I had to put money on it, I'd say that they probably weren't bouncing quite this much. I have to grab some ingredients to get this started. Get what started? You want to make a little snack? You want to make a little snack at this time of day? I'd be more up for running away, frankly. I don't usually gravitate towards physical exercise, but in this scenario, I don't think I'd mind too much. Can I at least find a recipe? Or a list of things that I need? Before I start grabbing stuff willy-nilly? There's a big chicken here, we could eat that. There's some floating cheese and some bread and some, I'm not sure what those are. They are green and also red and have such defined lines on them, they look utterly artificial. How very confusing. So what do I need? I'm just going to put this away for a second because it really does screw with the frame rate. Where does this go? This is that cupboard I was hiding in before, isn't it? And that's the bit that leads off to the library. So there must be a list somewhere, or a recipe. Some sort of indication of what I need. Because right now I can't even pick things up, let alone actually use them. Presumably it's a sort of... Oh! I wonder if there's a recipe. Maybe I should, like, wander around the whole kitty yard. Maybe I should shut up and play the game instead of putting on stupid voices. Maybe I should do that. Right. Can I get access to any of the other cupboards? Because I feel like that other cupboard's a little too close for me. There's no cupboard in here. She went and stole the cupboard and removed it. I think that might be one of the ingredients that I need. Evening, Mom. Don't mind me. I am just... or Mademoiselle, I suppose I should say. Don't mind me. I'm just going to do a little bit of running away. Right. There has got to be a cupboard somewhere. She hasn't taken all of the cupboards away. She must have left at least one. It was the one I passed, which was right about... I don't know because I can't see a thing. It was nowhere near here. I seem to have gotten myself horrifically lost and I've barely even begun yet. Here we are. This cupboard. Let me just get in here for a moment. You didn't see me. You did it. You saw me. You so saw me. Well, that went well, didn't it? Okay then. I know where the recipe is, and I think I know where at least one of the ingredients are, because there was a red light shining on something in this corner. Presumably it's what's in this bottle? Salt, one presumes. Right, if you could just take the salt instead of sticking it on your face, mate. Just get on with life, that'd be nice. Okay then, so I need to navigate my way around the house and collect the general bits and pieces that I need in order to make my midnight snack without my patrolling maternal figure here from discovering me. And somehow she's already found me. Even though she wasn't even looking anywhere near me at the time. Alright, never mind. Let's see if we can find some of the other ingredients on the go, shall we say. Okay, I think there's one on the library, looking at that map for the instant that I could. Or have I lost her? Oh, okay. So the cupboards aren't the only way to escape. There are other possibilities. There must be something here. Is that it? Some pepper, perhaps. I'm going to hide under here and see if she comes by. Is that her? There's something bobbing up and down there, but it might just be a piece of furniture. Which is a very interesting touch now that I think about it, because so often in games, I think I've talked about this before, I can't remember what game it was, but I definitely did talk about this before. Normally in a game, everything's very stationary. I don't want to go that way. So when you see movement, you can immediately attribute it to the enemy. But a good game will include some kind of movement within the environment, so that your brain begins to get accustomed to little bits of movement, and then it'll see some movement and think, oh no, that's fine, it's just the normal thing that moves. And then you'll find out it's actually the bad guy, and then you'll get killed. Which is very, very sneaky. Okay, I think the rest are on the next floor. Yes. Next floor towards the front of the building. Where is she? I don't know. Where are the frames? I don't know that either. But, you know, never mind. Oh, there she is. She went upstairs. That explains a lot. Is she going to come down the stairs? Yes, she is. That's irritating. Alright. Where's she going to go now? This way? Yeah. Of course she is. You know, she just couldn't be helpful, could she? Right, could you please... Oh, no, of course you couldn't. I love that she starts chasing me when I'm really far away from her, instead of when I'm actually standing right in front of her and not too far away. I like this demon because I can't understand her. Never mind. Let's get up the stairs, and then I think if I turn left and go down this corridor and turn left again, at the end, yeah, here we are. Should be in one of these rooms up here. Yeah, here's a red light. So Where's this thing I'm looking for? Is it this? Something in here? A flower. Yes, let's eat some flowers with salt and pepper. That'll be delicious. I can combine these in the kitchen. Indeed. What a lovely view. The view is a bit less nice out here, but never mind. You can't have everything in this real estate market. Interestingly, I think this red light is just marking out which room it's in, which is very nicely done. I feel like a lot of thought has gone into guiding the player in this game. Like giving the player little hints and tips to make sure that they don't waste their time. Which is excellent. It's something else I've talked about previously in games. In horror games it's very difficult, particularly if you're going to include any kind of puzzle elements, in order to keep the pacing right. Because if you want the pacing to be at a certain level, then introducing puzzles can really slow that down, particularly for cretinous people such as myself. So, putting in a little bit of guidance can really help the player along and keep the pace that you want as a developer, rather than it being dependent on whether the player's competent. I need to mix these and pour them in the jar. What? How do I do this? Or by picking them up and putting them in, one at a time? You'd think you could have done that yourself, man. I didn't want the map. Put the map down. Give me the... Not the map! I don't wish to have the map, thank you. I'm quite finished with it. Could you pick it up? I'm pressing all of the buttons and not a hell of a lot is happening. Alright, do I need to put the... Oh, right, I need to put that in there. Now what? Now someone's been traipsing through the paint without their socks on. Giddy aunt. Again, guidance, but mysterious guidance. Now what? Now where do I go? Upstairs or remain down here? I'm gonna guess upstairs? I feel like we haven't fully explored upstairs. I suppose we should be big and brave and go and find out what all that was about. Okay, some more footprints. Interesting that the footprints didn't appear on the stairs. Perhaps they were too conscious of the cost of marble in order to get any paint on it. Okay, this looks like... Okay, I was going to say this looks like the door into the void. Oh, it's alright, it's just a stair. Right, sorry. I thought that was an arm and that was one of her feet. So I thought there was a body bouncing up and down. But, no such luck. Waiting for the jump scare. It almost seems like the house is dilapidated. Water leaking from the roof. Evening, madam. I wasn't expecting such a close-up of your tootsies. No, back here again. Thank you. Was wondering when the rest of the village would get here. Interesting. It's almost like, oh, the gates of the garden are open. Oh, interesting. It's almost like, goodness. The true meaning of horror. A box fell over. Right. Oh, I can throw things. I didn't realise I could do that. Cool. We'll get to all that in a sweet second. I really do feel like this house that we're exploring, or at least at the very end of it, was like abandoned a long time ago. We see like water on the bed, everything was all messy. I feel like that ghost has been wandering around for a long time. Are those the graves? That's it. I see. That was fascinating. With the exception of that note, which said it had 2 patients and their ages, with the exception of that one piece of information, there was nothing written in this game. Absolutely nothing written at all. There were no notes, there were no books, there were no bits of dialogue, there was none of that at all. What there was just a really nice story, which... oh, gosh. Yeah, the worst part is, this isn't the first time I've gotten to the end of the game. I think it's the 3rd time I've gotten to the end of the game. And they just take their monster model and they just make it dance. Which is impressive. I never quite know why people do this. Is it because they just get bored of the horror and they say eventually, you know what, I'm a 3D animator and I just want to animate something a bit more fun for once. I'm getting a bit down with all this horror and death and misery, so I'm going to make someone breakdance. That is quite entertaining in its own way. Right, never mind. I'll try to get back to my serious critique of this impressive indie game. It is impressive because it tells a really nice story very effectively with the use of no words, which I really like. To be honest, I'd even get rid of that piece of paper that says the physician's note. But now I'm confused. Now I'm confused about what the actual tragedy is. Was it that the children were sick and then they died? And then maybe the husband left the wife and then started a new family where he had the 2 little boys? Or was it my original theory about adultery? Because clearly who I assume is the wife and the mother, probably of the first family, that of the ones with the little girls, I assume that family came first and you were introduced to them first. It seems like she underwent some kind of heartbreak, some kind of trauma, that was so serious it unrested her soul, and she lingered in the house, presumably the family home, and that little bedroom we saw with the 2 beds in it was presumably the child's bedroom, or the children's room even. But what exactly that trauma was is a little difficult to talk about while you continue to dance like you're in a rave, Mom. I had the time of my life playing this game. Obviously, it's a little physically rough around the edges in terms of like the frame rate and the sort of spawning in of different bits and bobs in the world. But, you know, that's like a very basic technical thing which can easily be ironed out. The important thing is that the design and the ideas and the artistic side, if you like. The artistic side is very good. The mechanical side needs a little bit of work, but that's just like fact and figure. You can fix that. What you can't teach as well or fix as well is the artistic side of a game. This game has a very, very strong artistic side. But I'm going to stop yammering on now. I'm going to stop yakking and running my mouth. I'm going to shut up and let you get on with the rest of your life. So, I will bid you adieu.